If 6 out of 10 patients don't show up to their appointments at your clinic, you're not just losing the time, you are literally burning cash. The sad reality of paid advertising campaigns in a cash-based clinic is that 60% of the appointments that they get scheduled from their marketing efforts never end up showing. We've helped clinics go from as low as 5% up to a 60% show rate using a special system that works regardless of the market and even when it's coming from cold traffic. So here's exactly how we do it. We implemented the same strategy with Goal MD. They were struggling as low as 5% up to a 25% show rate on their appointments. In only a couple weeks, we were able to take them to a 60% show rate. They went from barely breaking even on their ads to making tens of thousands of dollars per month from ads. One thing to keep in mind, every no-show is costing you that cost of the appointment. So if you average a $50 appointment cost and you get 4 appointments and only 2 of those show for that day, you just set $100 on fire. So in this video, we're gonna break down how to increase show rates. So we first have to understand the psychology of why. Why don't they show to their appointment? Well, it comes down to 3 main reasons. They're generally uncertain about what to expect. They have questions, second layer questions, objections, and expectations. We've bucketed that into 4 main content pillars: second layer questions, objections, and expectations. So they have certain levels of uncertainty. They have questions that haven't been answered. Second layer questions, right? For example, if you're running like a weight loss offer and they're like, well, how much is it? Well, it's about $300 a month. Well, on average, how many months are people on it? And what do I have to do? Like, do I have to inject myself? Do I have to do this? All these questions that are running through their minds. The second reason, aside from the psychology of why they don't show, is the perceived value isn't aligned of what they believe in. Their perceived value isn't aligned with the time commitment that it is required of them. They think it's going to be a waste, not going to work for me, it's a lot of work, I'm busy. These are some of the things that are going through their head, which don't add to the perceived value. They're busy people. You're generally selling to rich people when you sell cash-based clinic services. Poor people can't afford that. They go to insurance or they don't get the treatments. So you have to understand, where are they at? What do they value? Generally their time more than anything. And then the last thing is there's no connection. They have a lack of personal connection. Remember, people like to buy from humans, and they buy when they know, like, and trust you. Running a coupon ad to get somebody to sign up doesn't have any real commitment. Honestly, it's just like, I just want your money and I'm just giving you a discount so that you give me your money. It's like the exact opposite of building a personal connection. So these are the reasons why it doesn't work. So this is why it's low. How do we combat that? We leverage a very advanced strategy we call hammering. In this strategy, we hammer leads with 15 to 20 touch points. This doesn't even include anything that your sales team is doing. So just to be clear, this is just from marketing efforts, right? You are a sales and marketing organization. Marketing can only do so much. Now, if you're an asynchronous business, that's different. You're purely a marketing organization, marketing and operational. For most of these med spas, functional health clinics, anybody who's book an appointment and then we convert, that's a synchronous business model. They have to be sitting down one-on-one or over a Zoom call or over a phone call in order to get the medication or treatment. Those require a high amount of touch points to build the familiarity. So we hammer them with 15 to 20 touch points. And this is generally before a salesperson even books with them or before a salesperson even talks with them, before their appointment even happens. If they book an appointment 3 days out, we're hitting them with these touch points prior to that appointment happening. Now, because people buy when they know, like, and trust. This builds you. It gets them to like you and it gets them to trust you. And we do this in 2 ways. So we hammer them in 2 ways, with content, and with emails. We hit them with 18 emails in a 72-hour window. That's 6 emails per day if you're not good at math. Is that a lot of emails? No, it's not. A lot of emails is at the point of it reducing the open rates of emails. We've calculated that 6 emails a day is the perfect amount to get the show rates. Anything more than that is when we start to notice diminishing returns. Now, it's not just any email. There is a strategy to each one of those emails. They all serve a very specific point in the process that gets them to become, guess what? More familiar with you. It solves the familiarity issue, and they now know you, like you, and eventually they will trust you by us hitting these things. So we do this in emails and we do this in content. In the content, there are 4 content pillars we cover for our hammering. I already mentioned it above right here. These are the 4 pillars: questions, second layer questions, objections, and expectations. I'll write it again down here: questions, second layer questions, objections, and then expectations. Well, why is this? Well, what happens when you do talk to somebody? Let's say you have a lead or a schedule campaign of some sort, and your salesperson calls them up. First question they answer: how much is it? Probably one of the most common questions that you get. Then there's second layer questions, which are deeper diving. When you answer questions, they reveal other questions. If I sign up for your membership, am I locked in on some long-term commitment? No, it's completely month to month, right? That's a second layer questions. Objections are generally price is a very common one, right? Well, I saw it cheaper elsewhere, right? So a type of content that would handle that would be like, so here's why you don't want to only buy the cheapest weight loss solution. The reason for that is most of these businesses that are selling cheap solutions oftentimes aren't even checking where the labs are manufactured at. These could be foreign products. And additionally, doctors that prescribe those, they don't know the proper dosing. So the side effects are very risky. You can get Ozempic butt, which no woman wants that. You can get hair loss. You can get muscle atrophy. There's a lot of things that can happen from getting the wrong dose. That would be an example of objections. And then expectations are what is needed from them. You know, if it's a once a week injection, if it's meet with the doctor, come into our clinic, get your labs done first. There's tons of expectations that you have. These are the 4 types of content pillars that you need, and we're gonna hammer them through 15 to 20 touch points in 2 ways, through emails and content. And then for the emails, these are very, very specific. As I said, the 18 emails, they follow a cadence. If you wanna know what that is, I have a coaching program. I'll coach you how to do this. We also have a build and release program. If you can't afford to work with me or it's not in your budget quite yet, my team will build out everything: the CRM, the funnels, the automations. This is our proven 8-figure campaigns. We build that out for you. We build out the ads. We even create UGC content for you, and then we launch it for you, done for you up until the launch. Then from there, all you have to do is run it yourself. And guess what? You get direct access to me, 2 coaching calls per month, 24/7 access to me through a Telegram chat. And we train you on exactly how to do this yourself, because no marketing campaign works one time. You have to set it, make adjustments, and tweak it. So I train you exactly how to think like a marketer. In less than 3 months of working with me, you'll know more about marketing than any agency has ever taught you in working with me. And then if you'd rather just hire me to do it myself, we do have an application process if you click the application link below. But the 18 emails, they follow a cadence. We do 6 per day, and they cover a range of topics from case studies, expectations, stories, and trust assets. We are in a trust recession. People aren't in a spending recession, as most people think that we are. They're just concerned that if they spend money, they have the money, but if they spend the money, it has to yield the outcome that they want. So they're more than ever hopping on multiple calls, checking reviews, checking YouTube. We need these trust assets. We load them up in the email campaigns in a very strategic cadence, 6 emails per day. Now what happens is they've seen 18 of your emails, right? So now when this lead what happens generally is here's an ad, drives traffic to the landing page, right? Here's the VSL, and they book. Now, generally what happens is there's about 2.1 times frequency on the ad. So that means if you go in your ads manager and look, you'd see anywhere from about 2.1 is the average of what we've seen. Probably 1 to like 1.2 to maybe a 3 times frequency. And look at the window. So if the average time from when a lead books an appointment, let's say, is 5 days. So you want to look at that window on a 5-day window, then you'll find the true frequency. So they've seen your ad on average 2 times. And what happens next? You never see them again. They never see your content ever again. They might get some opt-in text, some appointment reminders. Text messages don't do anything. There's nothing a text message has done to improve the show rates or improve the conversion rates or any of that. We do it to confirm, hey, thanks for opting in, thanks for confirming. But it's mostly for sales teams to reach out and manually send them stuff. It doesn't help with the show rates on this. Now, what we do is instead of just a 2.1 frequency and maybe 1 opt-in email, thanks for opting in, show to your appointment. And we're not talking about appointment reminders either. These are not appointment reminders. These are very strategic emails. So this is what the other guys are doing. And now what we do is we hit them with 15 to 20 pieces of content and 18 emails with an average of about a 40% open rate. So now when this same lead clicked on the same ad and over 5 days, they saw 15 to 20 pieces of content and they saw 18 emails, do you think that they are going to know who you are, show up to the appointment, trust that you can do what you do because we've shown them countless case studies, we've handled all the questions that they have, all the second layer questions that they have, all the objections and expectations that they have? Of course. So by implementing these hammering strategies, you're able to double and in some cases triple, even quadruple your show rates on your appointments. And we're not talking about appointment reminders. Hey, just a reminder, your appointment is, that stuff doesn't do anything to improve the show rates. Every agency has that. Every agency struggles with show rates because they're not controlling the entire journey from start to finish. So if you're tired of poor show rates and ready to say goodbye and start scaling your ad campaigns profitably, or maybe you want me to consult on your business, click the link below in the bio or in the description of this video. You can apply to work with us or just send me a DM. I'm very active on social media. Thanks so much. Looking forward to helping you hit your first $1 million month.